be we will see variables concept. Okay, once we see variables concept, that time we'll understand concatenation, and then we be new line some methods also. Okay, so how we can create the variable. So before creating the variable, first of all, what is variable and why we need to use variables? What is variable, guys? Anyone?
For storing, it's just a storage area, right?
Yeah,
A variable,
basically
we assign something.
container. Yeah, to store the value we will be using this, right? And in later point of time, if you want to access that particular value, then you just need to call that variable name. That's it, right? So this is variable. Okay, and how we can create the variable? Again, two ways. One is by going into this variables panel, and here you have to click. By default it will give you one variable name. Okay, but you should not give some, you should not give the not meaningful name. Okay, so always the variable name should be meaningful, and it should follow some naming convention also. Okay, so the naming convention is like your target data type should be first. Okay, the short form of your target data type, str, is nothing but string, right? So give the data type and then underscore, and then the meaningful name. Okay, variable name. So here what we are going to do, here we are going to store some value, right? So we can give something as str underscore message, so that if you are going off, right, some other person replacing you, then he will be able to understand by just by seeing the variable name what we are doing here and what is the target data type, right? So he don't need to again get into this variables panel just to see the variable type. Just by seeing the variable name itself, he will be able to understand, okay, this is of type variable, this is of type data type string, right? Just by seeing the variable name he will be able to understand. Okay, and here variable type is of type string only, right? Because we are going to store one data type of type string. Okay, so we'll choose string, and the scope, right, we'll see in a while. Okay, so this is one way of creating the variable. Now we have created variable called str message, and if you want to give any default value, right, when I say default value, it is not going to override. So if you give hello world over here, and you don't need to again hard code the value over here, just you can call the variable name itself. What is our variable name? Str message, right? So now tell me, it is of data type string, so how you have to call this? Either within double quotes or how you have to?
It's a string, but it's a variable, so I don't think it should be in double quotes, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, correct. So if you are going to enclose within double quotes, then what it will do, whatever within double quotes, it will consider as a string, and it will just print that result only. If you are going to give this str message within double quotes, then you will be not getting the value hello world whatever we stored over here. Instead of that, what we will be getting is we will be getting the value as str message only. Okay, so if I run it and show, see what we are getting. We are getting str message, but what is our expectation? Our expectation is whatever we have stored inside this variable, that is hello world we have stored, right? That particular value should be displayed, right? So you don't need to, whenever you are calling a variable of any data type, right, you should not enclose within double quotes. Okay, then only the variable can be called. Okay, so when I type str, you will be getting all the suggestions. Okay, so intelligence is giving the suggestions for us, and here you can see local variable. Local variable is nothing but we have created the variable str message, and that is of type string. So just click on enter, and if we run it now, then we will be getting the value which is stored inside this variable. Okay, that is nothing hello world. See, we are getting this. And okay, so now this is done. So now we will change our requirement. Okay, so what that requirement is, after this str message, we want to print one integer that is nothing but the value 10. Okay, so we want to print that as well. So how we can do that? Any idea, guys? L- don't consider it is of type integer only, it can be of type string also. Okay, so how we can do that? So this is the variable, and I don't want to change this value. Okay, that is, I don't want to change this value to hello world 10. Instead of that, I want to call this variable so that this value will be accessed. After that, I want to hard code some value like 10 over here so that it will be displayed. So, any idea like how we can display?
Concatenate.
Yeah, concatenate we have, right? So what is concat? Like basically joining two values, right? Suppose if you have value as 10 and if you have one more value as 20, and consider these two values of type string. Okay. To make it more like this, I'll give something like this 10 and then 20. So if it is enclosed within double quotes, then its appropriate data type is string, right? So if you concatenate, so what is the concatenation operation is plus. Okay, so plus is nothing but it will help us to do the addition operation. If it is a integer, then addition operation will happen. If it is a string, then joining will happen. That is concatenation will happen. Okay, so what it will do now, if we add plus between these two, right, what will be the expected output? Ashutosh, can you answer this?
Sorry, I just missed. Okay, so if it is a character, then it will be 10 and 20 will be shown there. And if it is an
Uh-huh.
integer, then it will be
Then if it is an integer,
30, right?
correct. So now we want to do this operation. Okay, so we already have str message. Now we want to do concatenation. Basically we want to display hello world then 10, right? So how we can do that? Just add a concatenation operation, and then we are going to add 10, right? So just do 10 within double quote so that it will be acted as a string. So both the strings will be concatenated. Okay, so once we run it now, right? So let's see what is the output which we are going to get. See, str hello world 10, right? So this is how you can concatenate. And if you wish to have some space, right, between hello world and then 10, what you can do, space is also considered as a string only. So you can add a space before this 10 so that once you run this particular workflow, like you will be getting hello world space 10. Last time we got us hello world 10. This time we will be getting the space also. See, we are getting space also, right? So this is how you can play with the strings. Okay, and now like we have seen the VB new line method already, right? And not only VB new line method does like it will be a VB new line method, what it will do, like whatever we are mentioning after that VB new line, it will be taken into the next line, right? Similarly, like we will be having one more method called VBCRLF. Okay, what this method will do, again it will work on the same way like VB new line. Okay, so either you can use VB new line or else you can use VBCRLF. So now if I mention 10, the output will be hello world will be printed on the first line and the 10 will be printed on the second line. This is one more method for printing your values in the next line, that is in the new line. Okay, there is no difference between this vbcrlf and vb new line, both are going to work in the same way. So now we'll get into one more step ahead. Okay, so what we will do is, here in variables, like we have given the default value, right? Instead of that, what we will do is we'll try to get the input from the user. Okay, and then we'll try to print it. And I told you there is one more way of creating the variable, right? One is by going over to the variables panel and by creating it. The other way is like either in this activity or else in this place, right? So once you do control K is for shortcut for creating the variable. Once you do control K, see it is asking set where. Okay, you have pressed control K. So please set the variable name. It is asking. Your path is asking. Please set the variable name. Okay. Once you do control K, you can give your variable name. So I'll give it as str mess. Okay. So once you do that, here you will be able to see that particular variable has got created.